aqua friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Nicole and I have a follow along watercolor bees tutorial for you today. We will be using 140-pound watercolor paper cold press. I use Arches or the Honeycomb collection series. For the brushes, I used a flat brush, around 8 and around 4, a script liner brush, some plastic wrap, white and black fine tip pens. I used Holbein and Daniel Smith watercolor paints, Indian Yellow, Iso Yellow Deep, Burnt Sienna, Neutral Tint, and Pearlescent White. So that is the supplies. Now let's get painting. I did my value study and color swatches first to see if I liked the design idea. This step is highly recommended. It helps to establish the hand-eye coordination and the muscle memory for the real deal. So now I'm starting on the actual project. We're going to be working wet on wet watercolor technique, and I am starting off with my lightest colors. My first yellow is the Indian Yellow, and as I continue to darken things up, I will switch over to my Iso Yellow Deep, which is more orangey yellow. Where the bees are, that's my main focus, and I want to keep that area lighter. So I'm sort of working around and establishing colors around those bees, those really pretty honeycomb colors. I'm then moving on to the final color, which is the burnt sienna. It really brings home that toffee dark colors. If you start to lose the light areas, if you put too much paint on, you could always use a piece of tissue to lighten up the middle if you need to. So now I am taking my plastic wrap so that we have a really cool geometric textured background, and while your paper's still wet, you want to lay it down. You can fiddle with it until you're kind of happy with the designs that it's making, and we're going to let it dry. So once everything was dry, I started my bees, but I immediately saw my error. Can you see what I did wrong here? I was being a bit too shy with the shapes, and it just threw off my whole composition. They're way too small. If you see my study on the right-hand side, the bees are a lot larger. So because we are going to be making these bees wet on wet and pretty loose, this is easily fixed by lifting as much of the paint as you can and going over those same areas, just making them a lot bigger. So due to my planning, at least my bees are in the right spot. They just need to be bigger. So I'm taking my yellow and I'm doing some nice big curved strokes, and the bees are going to be a lot more fatter and actually cuter. So I'm sort of glad I screwed it up. So I'm going to do the same thing with my other two bees. I'm making my yellow a lot bigger and dropping in my neutral tint right away so that they mingle together. So it was a happy mistake in the end. Hey, we have to stick together, right? On our watercolor journey, and learn from one another and come up with solutions. That's kind of what makes watercolor fun, is it's challenging. You have to think in layers. It is a fascinating media, and it's just a lot of fun. So these bigger curved strokes I am getting this time around are making for some nice big chunky bees. So once that dries, we will be drawing in the wings. I am using a fine tip marker to draw in the wings, and I'll be using both black and white for a translucent effect, along with the help of this gorgeous sparkly pearlescent white watercolor by Daniel Smith that we will be adding next. So I'm just drawing the random lines that you see on the insect's wings. And for that shiny look to the wings, I'm adding the pearl white now. And you can sort of see it doesn't show up on camera too well, but you kind of do see that it is shiny. While the wings are drying, I am lightly wetting the background so I could loosely draw in some geometric honeycomb shapes. I'm doing this very loosely. I want the idea of honeycombs, but I don't want them to be the main focus, and I don't want them to distract from the bees. So that's why I'm wetting the paper first, but I'm doing this very gently because we do not want to disturb the underlayer of all the textures that we've already made. And if you do some areas that are a bit too dark, you could always blot them with a tissue or smear them with your finger. You will see me do that many times while I'm making these honeycombs. So I'm just working around the painting and adding them in just randomly. I don't want to overdo it like I said, but I just kind of want that idea of the honeycombs to go along with all these beautiful colors that we've established. So now that the wings are dry, I'm adding in my white jelly pen for some highlights, and this just adds to that translucent look to the wings. I hope you guys enjoyed this bee project and give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoy my artwork and love watercolor just as much as I do, then please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. See you guys next week.